I love this movie. Show it. I'm gonna show. Look. I'm gonna. This movie is called Baby's Day Out. Mom got it on VHS. I used to love this movie, man. So what? He just like, what does he do?
Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you an adventure, comedy, crime film from 1994, titled Baby's Day Out. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Bennington Austin Cotwell IV, better known as Bink, is the son of Lorraine and Bennington Austin Cotwell III, a couple of socialites that live in a mansion in a suburb of Chicago. The person that spends the most time with him and actually knows him well, however, is his nanny Gilbertine, a very caring woman that is willing to read him his favorite book, Baby's Day Out, or as Bink calls it, boo-boo over and over even if she's tired of it.
Chad, this movie was a banger, man. For being young, it was a banger, bruh.
Today, Bink is getting his picture taken so he can appear in the social pages of the newspaper.
And apparently they love the kid so much that the little baby was literally traveling all over the town by himself, unsupervised. They couldn't find him. How?
Since Lorraine has been feeling they've kept their baby hidden from their friends. While the mother and nanny get the baby ready, the photographers are ready to go as well, but they encounter a problem when a trio of criminals ambush them. Eddie, Vico, and Norby grab the real photographers, tie them up and leave them in an old abandoned warehouse.
Wait, Chad, this is like, it's like I'm watching the movie, but I'm like, but it's like, you know, this dude just telling it for me, man. It's literally a recap, bro. The way he's talking though, and the way the music is in the background, seems like it's like a documentary. Why is it so scary and sad, man? This is like a kid's movie.
Before taking their uniforms in their van so that they can pretend to be them. When they arrive at the mansion, their act is believed with no issues, so they take out their equipment as if they were going to take the picture for real and ask the mother for some time alone with the child, because if she's there, she may distract him.
Oh, it's a robot voice. Oh my gosh, ew. I mean, at least it's not that, I mean, this is still annoying, but at least it's not that the girl one. Now that shit is annoying. They left their baby on top of the roof, and the baby escaped. Oh my god.
Lorraine looks a bit skeptical, but Eddie gets her to leave when he points out her outfit is not adequate for the photograph. The servants leave with her to help her find the right dress, but before doing so, Gilbertine gives Eddie the book in case Bink gets difficult.
I wonder what this baby doing now.
With everyone gone, it's incredibly easy for the criminals to steal the baby and escape through the window, where their van has already been parked. They change vehicles midway though, leaving their disguises with the photographers' uniforms and equipment behind in exchange for their own van. Lorraine finds a note left behind telling her not to call the police, and Bennington comes back from work after receiving a note asking for money as well. The cops and the FBI soon arrive at the house and start their investigation, stopping Lorraine just in time from going out there and searching for the baby.
Oh, it was two different babies. It wasn't just one baby. It was two different babies. Nigga, a grown man now. Why he look like the MySpace picture?
Baby on her own, which could be dangerous. Meanwhile, the criminals are in their secret hideout, the last floor apartment of a tall building with a huge clock on the front.
He's 34.
After changing Bink into less flashy clothes so nobody can tell he's a rich baby, Norby takes him to the bedroom and reads the book to him, trying to make him take a nap, but he is the one that falls asleep instead. Bink looks through the book on his own and notices there are birds outside the window just like the ones in the story, so he crawls out and uses the fire escape to climb to the roof after the birds. When he finds a skylight, he looks through it and sees Eddie and Vico in the room, gaining their attention when he spits on them and giggles. The criminals panic and go after him, only to find him crawling on a wooden board to reach the—
This was literally like Home Alone, except like the world was the house.
The other roof where the bird has flown to. Eddie comes closer to grab him and ends up being hit by the board when the shift of Bink's weight makes it move up and down, and seeing it as dangerous, Vico throws the board away after Bink makes it to the other side, eliminating the chance for them to follow him through the same path. The trio decides that the roofs are close enough to each other to jump. Norby and Vico manage to cross over, but Eddie is still dizzy and falls on an alley dumpster. Meanwhile, Bink makes his way inside the building, reaching an apartment and managing to leave it when the owner opens the door to the mailman. They're too busy talking to each other to notice him crawling around their feet until he reaches the elevator, which he rides to the ground floor before finally leaving the building. Norby and Vico—
And how does nobody notice this fucking baby crawling over the floor, bro?
Rescue Eddie out of the trash can just in time to see Bink get on a crowded blue bus because it matches the one in the book, so they hurry
And
to
how'd he get a ticket, man?
into their van and follow him around town. The bus driver notices them and drives away from them, losing them for a couple of blocks until the trio manages to find a way back into the main street, stopping the van right in front of the bus when it stops to let a big lady out, who carries a bag where Bink has crawled into.
Why can't she just be a lady? Why she gotta be a big lady?
The driver and asks about the baby, but the driver just takes off. While he calls the main office to see if there are any reports of a missing baby, the trio sees the big lady walk behind their van and notice Bink comfortably sitting in her bag. They start following her, trying to think of a way to take Bink without her knowing, but she does notice them and proceeds to drop her things in order to beat them up. Scared of her strength, the criminals run away while Bink takes the chance to crawl out of the bag and enter a department store.
Somebody get this baby!
He's found by the employee in charge of the mall's daycare, who thinks Bink has escaped her facilities. She takes him with her and leaves him with the other kids after changing his diaper, but Bink escapes again by climbing into another baby's stroller when the mother comes to pick her up. After drinking all the juice from the other baby's bottle, Bink waits for the stroller to stop and climbs back out, making his way to the doors and waiting for an adult to open them so he can go outside. On the streets, a reporter is already covering his kidnapping on the news, and he crawls past her when he sees a taxi, which also reminds him of his book. He causes the reporter to drop her microphone and the cameras are on him for a second, enough for the criminals to see him on a shop's television. They rush after him but they don't make it in time. Bink crawls into the taxi and looks at them through the window as the car drives away.
I never realized how fucking crazy this movie was.
A call from a man
and how a lot of
claiming
shit
to have
doesn't
seen
make
the
any
baby and
sense.
go check it out. The man points at an apartment after getting some money out of them, but it was of course a lie. It's a random baby belonging to a perfectly good woman. When the taxi parks to drop off its passengers, Bink crawls out and sees the zoo across the street, which also is in his book. The criminals arrive then, having followed the taxi with their van, and see him cross the street without any issues. They try to do the same, but it's more difficult for three grown men to be ignored by the cars, so a vehicle ends up driving over their toes, causing them to run away in pain and fall into a ditch. After they get out, they enter the zoo and follow Bink's tracks on the dirt that take them to the ape house, where Bink is contently sitting inside a cage with a gorilla.
Monkey.
This gorilla likes the baby and treats him as if he were its own, feeding him fruits and keeping him safe. It isn't as nice, however, when Vico puts his arm inside the cage to try to grab Bink. The gorilla just watches him for a few seconds before coming closer and smashing his hand with its fist. Their next idea is to use a mop they find nearby.
No, that shit was funny because he was trying not to scream, bro.
His hand with its fist. Their next idea is to use a mop they find nearby. Norby sticks its handle inside the cage and puts it through Bink's clothes to pick him up, but the gorilla quickly notices and takes Bink back before hitting Norby with the mop. Afterward, they wait for the ape to fall asleep, and now it's Eddie's turn to try to get the baby out.
Stupid.
At first, it seems he's successfully bringing Bink closer, but the gorilla wakes up, grabs Eddie, and furiously tosses him against another cage after roaring on his face. At that moment, the zoo opens the back of the gorilla's cage so it can be in the outer area for a while, giving Bink the opportunity to safely escape. While the Cotwells find Bink's picture on the paper but not in the way they wanted, Bink hangs out in the park, watching all the other kids play and have fun. He starts crawling away again when the criminals arrive in their van and start following him, almost catching him before he goes through some bushes and a tunnel three grown men can't walk into. The trio runs to the other side park and waits for him to come out of the tunnel at the other end, grabbing him right before the police arrive. Playing the innocent bystander card, they sit on a nearby bench and hide Bink between Eddie's legs, covering him with his jacket. The cops start asking questions about their van and a missing baby, and Eddie tries his best to answer them while squirming in pain because Bink is hitting his groin and even lighting it on fire after he finds a lighter in one of Eddie's pockets.
That's racist.
Norby and Vico take the cops away with them to show them something about the van while Bink leaves the lighter on the bench and climbs down from Eddie's lap, who can't stop him from escaping because he's going through excruciating pain. When his two friends return, they throw him on the ground and put off the fire by stomping repeatedly on his groin. Back in the house, Lorraine approaches Gilbertine, realizing she's the only one that can understand how she feels. While they bond over their love for the baby, Bink is making his way to a construction site, followed closely by Vico. Bink sees a worker's donut and wants it for himself, so he climbs on a steel beam to grab it, not caring about the fact he's now being lifted with the beam to the highest floor of the building. Eddie and Norby join Vico then, and together the three of them ride the elevator until they reach an area the beam hasn't passed by yet. The idea is to jump on it and retrieve the baby when the beam finally reaches their floor, but the plan doesn't go very well. When Vico jumps on the beam, his weight causes it to tip down and Bink to slide off until he lands on the elevator roof. As he crawls inside the building, Eddie and Norby try to help Vico, who is about to lose his grip on the beam. Norby tries to grab him to bring him back inside, but he slips and ends up hanging off the beam with him for a moment before he loses his grip and falls on top of some wooden boards.
He's dead.
This movement is enough to give the steel beam a push, and Vico manages to jump back into the building, landing on top of Eddie. Norby isn't so lucky though, he slips off the wood only to land on another steel beam before falling again and landing inside a vat of wet cement. Eddie and Vico try to follow Bink around while avoiding the workers, but Vico does as well as Norby does. He tries to jump back on the elevator, but he hits his head a couple of times and in his dizziness, he ends up falling off the building and landing in a dumpster.
What?
It's up to Eddie now. He comes incredibly close to
They're
Bink and is about to
dead.
catch him, but he slips on some drool the baby has dropped, causing him to fall and hit his head with a hammer.
Damn!
When he tries to get up, he holds onto a hanging rope for support, but pulling it proves a mistake when it turns over a vat that showers Eddie with glue. This slows down his walking since he can barely take a step without slipping, and it gives Bink enough time to crawl away and get onto a moving platform that takes him back down. Desperate, Eddie sees the moving hook of a crane and jumps on it, thinking it will also be lowered to the ground. But at the moment, the workers reach the end of their day and leave the site, so Eddie ends up stuck on the crane watching the sunset. One of the workers sees Bink crawl out of the construction site, but the idea is so ridiculous he blames it on his imagination. The criminals give up on the baby and decide to return home. The FBI visits the Cotwells to inform them of all the places where Bink has been seen through the day. Gilbertine immediately puts 2 and 2 together and realizes he's following the journey of the book, so the last place he'll visit has to be the old soldier's home. The family and the cops drive there and effectively find him among the elderly, who are singing a song for him. Once the family has reunited, they all get back in the car together with the FBI agents,
random baby
and when they
gets in
drive
there.
through the highway, Bink recognizes the building he had been kept at because of the clock outside. He starts pointing at it and calling it Boo, which indicates the adult's book is there. The FBI turns around and after calling for reinforcements, they surround the building and man the criminals to surrender and return the book. Eddie has no other choice but to toss at them the book through the window before he and his companions put their hands on their heads, waiting to get arrested. When the family returns home, they follow the ending of the book, which consists of putting the baby to bed. Once his parents are out of sight, Bink goes to his shelves and chooses his next favorite, Baby's Trip to China. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.
And guess what? The sequel never happened. I bet they expected this to take off like Home Alone. Yo, they're gonna fucking love this. But it's just so crazy. I mean, it was a cool concept, but like watching it again, like watching this now that I'm older, that shit is so fucking stupid. Click the vid. Fake psychic teams up with a correct psychologist in a deadly game to
Welcome back to
scam the elite. What is this? Bruh, y'all are literally clicking.
Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a thriller, drama film from 2021, titled Nightmare Alley. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care.
Damn!
In 1939, in the middle of nowhere, Stan buries a body in the floor of an old cabin before setting it all on fire. Afterward, he wanders around the countryside for a while until he comes across a carnival and decides to take
This movie was fire.
a look. There's a variety of freak shows to watch, but Stan is particularly interested in 2.
Wait, is that a homie? I forgot his name, man. He was in The Hangover. He was Rocket. Fucking Bradley Cooper. God damn.
One is Molly, the beautiful woman that can electrocute herself. The other is the Geek, a deranged man that eats a live chicken in front of the public.
Whoa.
The carnival bosses, Bruno and Clem,
Oh, shit.
offer Stan a job with them, and he accepts. He begins traveling with them doing various jobs, like
Okay.
selling merch, helping put up and down the tents, and catching the Geek whenever he escapes his cage. The first time, Stan hits him in self-defense, but then he starts feeling bad for the Geek, and one night he even shares a cigarette with the poor guy.
That's nice.
One day, the carnival stops near a house belonging to Zena and Pete, a couple that used to work as mentalists.
Okay.
They join the carnival with their act, which consists of using coded language and cold reading to trick their audience. Their coded language is all written down on a little book, and cold reading is just a matter of learning how to read a person's body language.
Yeah, people do this all the time, and I mean, people still fall for that to this day, man.
Fashion style.
With these fucking signs, man. What's your sign? What's your sign? I can tell just because the way that you act,
And level of education, among other things. Pete is an alcoholic, so whenever he's distracted, Zena and Stan get busy behind his back. Stan
Yo, chill, bro. That's his fucking wife, man. How do you go? How does y'all carnival go to a different town and then you end up banging his fucking wife? That's fucked up.
convinces the couple to teach him their tricks, so in his free time, he practices with them or hangs out with Molly. The two of them become very close, and Stan even comes up with an idea to improve her act, which she adores.
He's gonna fuck her. He's gonna fuck her too. He's gonna fuck everybody. He's fucking everybody, man.
Bruno, who feels responsible for Molly since her dad died, gives Stan the shovel talk to protect her. Stan promises not to hurt her.
And he's gonna do it anyway.
And later, he asks Molly to get away with him so they could have an act of their own in the city.
They could just did the what? He just... You better protect her, okay? She's like a daughter to me. I won't do anything to hurt her. Hey, what do you say? Me and you get the hell out of here, man. Why don't you say me and you get the hell out of here and make a name for ourselves, man?
They almost kiss, but Molly runs to her cart without an answer. That night, the geek hits his head pretty badly.
No.
His fever won't come down,
No.
so Clem asks Stan to help him take the geek down to town. After a quick drive, they abandon the geek at a homeless shelter. Then during dinner, Clem explains how he usually acquires his geeks. He finds desperate addicts in alleys and manipulates them with sweet words. Later, after their practice, Pete begs Stan to get him a sugar cane bottle from Clem's stash, and Stan complies. When Pete falls asleep, Stan tries to take a look at his code book, but Pete suddenly wakes up and takes it away from him. He explains the book can be misused, and the man starts believing he truly has the power, which takes him to hurt people. The next morning, Xena finds Pete dead. Many days later, the police arrive at the carnival to shut it down for illegal practices. When they go to Molly to get her for indecency, Stan quickly cuts in and activates the electricity as he pushes the deputies back, pretending he's saved their lives. Then he begins using his new cold reading skills to pretend he's in contact with the sheriff's dead mother, who asks his son to be merciful to these poor workers.
Yo!
The sheriff falls for it.
Wait, this dude's fucking crazy!
And agrees to leave with his men, so the carnival has effectively been saved. Molly is so impressed by Stan's quick thinking skills that she finally agrees to run away with him. The two of them kiss, and right after Molly admits she's never gone all the way with a man.
She says she a virgin, it's her turn.
Bruno finds them and begins beating up Stan.
Hey, what did I say?
Fortunately, Molly stops Bruno as she explains she loves Stan and will
Cock blocker. Come on, man. She's not even your real daughter, dude.
be leaving with him. In the morning, Stan gives his last goodbye to Xena, who allows him to keep Pete's book because he's earned it. 2 years later, Stan and Molly have become a very
Wait, they did it? Time skip?
successful psychic show among the wealthy elite of Buffalo, where a blindfolded Stan guesses people's possessions following Molly's verbal cues. Sadly, Stan can never stop dreaming about that day in the cabin. He continues to feel upset because the man that he buried that day was his father. One night during a show, a beautiful woman
Wait, what?
cues. Sadly, Stan can never stop dreaming about that day in the cabin. He continues to feel upset because the man that he buried that day was his father.
From the beginning, right? That was from the beginning, right? Like before he got in the act? Okay, I think I missed that part.
One night during a show, a beautiful woman called Lilith tries to make Stan guess what's inside her bag without letting Molly talk to him because she suspects they're using a verbal code.
Ooh! I'm gonna say tampon.
However, by using cold reading, Stan still manages to guess there's a gun inside her bag and humiliates Lilith in front of everyone,
I mean, I was close, man.
reminding her she has no power. Then, he turns to Judge Kimball and pretends to be in contact with his dead son.
Yo, he's good. God damn.
After the show is over and they return to the dressing room, Molly scolds Stan for giving the man a spook when Pete had warned him that spook shows were always a very bad idea. Since Kimball wants to meet them properly before they leave, Molly convinces Stan to tell Kimball the truth and offer closure. However, when the meeting finally happens and Kimball offers good pay if Stan comes to his house for a private consultation with his wife, Stan breaks his promise to Molly and takes the job. Lilith also stops by and leaves Stan her card, which presents her as a psychologist. The next day, Stan visits Lilith at her office.
Don't do it, bro. Don't hurt the girl. Don't hurt the girl, man. Come on, man. You got a good one, man. She literally can put electricity through her body, dude. What other girl can do that, man? Don't do this. Don't mess this up. I believe in you. Then again, I seen the thumbnail, and I mean, dude, you know?
Where she has recordings of every therapy session with her clients, including Kimball. Stan admits he uses tricks for his show and explains how he does it, which fascinates Lilith because his cold reading uses elements of psychology. So when Stan asks for information about Kimball's private life, Lilith accepts in exchange for being Stan's therapist, and he agrees. After Lilith tells him all about Kimball's dead son, she begins making questions of her own, calling Stan out for his fear of alcohol and getting him to admit he may have killed Pete, who Stan saw as a father figure better than his real alcoholic abusive dad. In the meantime, Stan and Molly's relationship begins to deteriorate, and every time Molly calls Bruno to check on her old friends, she admits she misses them and ends up in tears. Some of the carnival workers come to visit them, and while having dinner together, Xena reads Stan's future with her tarot cards, warning him of incoming danger if he does the spook show. A few days later, Stan acts behind Molly's
Damn, this is actually really fucking good, bro.
back and does the spook show for the Kimballs anyway, which is a big success thanks to Lilith's information. To give Kimball's wife peace, Stan tells her that her son is sure they'll reunite again someday. After the show is over,
Nah, was it Prim's Hood Cinema is elite. His shit is so fucking funny. He basically does this, but it's like hood it's like hood movies. It's for hood movies, and it's fucking hilarious.
Stan visits Lilith and offers her half of the money. Lilith turns it down, but she accepts to keep it all in her safe so Molly doesn't see it. Stan also gives her some big news. Kimball is so impressed with him that he wants him to do a private show for a friend, and Lilith promises to look into it during her next session with Kimball.
Damn.
Sometime later, Lilith calls Stan to tell him what she's found out. This friend Kimball wants to introduce Stan used to be Lilith's patient for only a very brief amount of time. He's unpredictable, powerful, and extremely dangerous. Stan wants to do the show anyway, so Lilith tells her the little she knows. When the time comes to do this new show, Stan goes to a rather fancy building and is welcomed by bodyguard Anderson, who pats him down before he's finally allowed to meet Kimball's friend Grindel. Strangely, Stan isn't taken to an office or a room. Grindel is a very private person that doesn't go out in public, so before he shares anything with Stan, he makes him sit on a lie detector right there in the middle of a hallway. Stan begins answering the questions, but he's afraid of being found out, so he interrupts the interrogation by saying he's being contacted by the spirit of a dead woman called Duria whom Grindel forced to have a miscarriage. The employees stay skeptical of Stan's abilities because the machine has mixed results, but Grindel is convinced Stan is the real deal because he couldn't just have guessed that.
Yo, this guy's manipulation, his manipulative tactics are on like 80,000 million like goddamn.
After the show is over, Stan goes to see Lilith to inform her of his success. Grindel wants more shows in the future, but Lilith refuses to share more information. This guy is dangerous, and she's the only one that knew about the miscarriage, so if Stan slips it'll get her in trouble too. While Lilith's in the bathroom, Stan makes an imprint of her keys on his notebook, but she isn't done with him yet. Lilith comes back to the office and shows Stan a scar on her belly, warning him again about the dangers of messing with powerful people. Stan ignores the warning and kisses her scar, marking the beginning of an affair between them.
Oh, come on, dude! Oh no, bruh. She said, "Do you see these scars?" He said, "I mean, I see those fucking titties. God damn! God!" Oh my god, dude, what a dick. I mean, to be fair, like, we've seen all the shit that can we really be surprised by this?
Once working hours are over, Stan returns to the office using a copy of the key he's made and access Lilith's recordings to find out more about Grindel. He also bribes an employee at the Department of Health to have access to the possessions found on Duria's body when she died, including a picture that shows Duria looks a lot like Molly. The next session with Grindel is also a success thanks to all this new information, but things get awkward when Grindel asks Stan to make Duria's spirit appear before him. Stan tries to dodge the request, saying Grindel needs to be purer of heart to see her, but Grindel pushes some extra money in his hands to make it happen. Afterward, Stan takes the money to Lilith's safe.
The girl, wait, he said in the picture someone looked like her. Don't fucking do that, bro. Don't do that. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, bro.
And she gets him to finally start drinking. The following day, Stan tries to convince Molly to play Duria.
Oh, you are a fucking dick, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit.
But she doesn't think it's a good idea. Their talk is interrupted by Anderson, who's come to pick Stan up but also to give him a warning. He's fond of his boss and owes him a lot, so he threatens Stan not to do anything weird or hurtful. Then, Anderson takes Stan to see Grindel, who gets furious when Stan pulls the same old message tricks. Stan better make Duria appear or Grindel will make him regret it. Meanwhile, Kimball's wife can't stop thinking about Stan's words from her son saying they would reunite someday. While sharing a meal, she takes out a gun and ends things for both her husband and herself so they can be with their son again. Back to Stan, he convinces Molly to play Duria so they can get this over with. While Stan gets everything ready, Molly looks at the sketches of Duria in Stan's book to get her look right, but she's shocked to find he's been sketching Lilith as well. Now she knows of the affair, Molly decides to leave, leaving a note for
You're a dumb, dude, this guy. How does this end? I gotta know, and I will, with movie recaps.
Stan when he comes back. Stan rushes to the station to stop her, scaring Molly with his forceful words and stench of alcohol. At first, Molly refuses to cooperate, but he convinces her to change her mind by promising she's allowed to leave for good after she helps him survive the show.
Oh my god.
When night falls, the duo gets everything ready at the garden Grindel built for Duria. After sending Anderson back inside with the excuse of privacy, Stan starts the seance, and wanting to be pure of heart for Duria, Grindel confesses all his sins, saying he's hurt many women through the years as if that could help him find Duria again. At that moment, Molly appears at the end of the garden dressed as Duria and covered in fake blood. Unfortunately, the plan is ruined when Stan can't convince Grindel to stay behind to pray. Instead, Grindel runs to Molly and hugs her before realizing she is not really Duria. Furious, Grindel hits Molly.
Damn, what the fuck, bro? I mean, I know she's playing a character, like trying to play the character, and she knew the idea, but damn, get mad at him. He ain't even just slap her, he backhanded her. God damn.
Runs to Molly and hugs her before realizing she is not really Duria. Furious, Grindel hits Molly and calls for Anderson, who is inside hearing the news of the Kimbell's deaths on the radio.
He's dead.
Stan shuts Grindel up by punching him until he's dead. Then he runs with Molly to the car as Anderson comes out and begins shooting at them.
What the fuck?
It doesn't take him long to catch up with them, but as soon as Anderson comes near, Stan hits him with his car twice before leaving. The car is taken to an alley where Stan starts breaking the windows so it looks like it had been stolen. Molly is horrified by this man she can't recognize and slaps Stan before finally leaving him for good. Afterward, Stan goes to see Lilith so he can get his money back and escape the city. Lilith gets the bag with the cash ready for him, and after drinking a lot of whiskey, Stan tries to leave, but Lilith gets him to stay by kissing him and saying she loves him. Stan begins to get suspicious when Lilith turns on the recorder for his final session, so he throws the money on the floor and discovers it's all singles. The betrayal makes Stan freak out, but Lilith stays calm, calling him delusional and pointing out he can't prove anything about her involvement in his shows. She is incredibly disappointed by Stan for being just another money-obsessed man and shoots him, proving she is powerful after all. The bullet only grazes his head, so Stan jumps on Lilith and tries to kill her while she's on the phone with security. Hearing the guards are coming for him, Stan escapes the building and runs to the train station to hide inside a carriage behind a bunch of chicken cages. As the train takes off with Stan inside, he once again thinks of his father and that horrible day in the cabin. It turns out Stan told his old man he hated him before opening the window on a snowy day to let him die of hypothermia.
Oh.
From then on, Stan begins to wander around like a hobo, sometimes joining other groups of vagrants to share their fire. One night, after Stan exchanges his father's watch for alcohol, Stan sees an ad in the newspaper promoting Xena's new show.
Oh.
He decides to look for a job at the nearest carnival, but the boss isn't interested in his mentalist tricks because they're too old-timey.
I like him.
However, he does have another position for him. As soon as he realizes he's being given the geek speech, Stan laughs and accepts, saying he was born for it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.
Wow. Wait, that is a good ass movie. Damn. I feel like at first glance, probably like if I'm watching this movie and I'm watching like the first 15 minutes or something, I probably wouldn't be too into it because a lot of times when I watch movies, I don't like to like really read the synopsis. I just like look at the cover of the movie, the title, and I'd be like, you know, I'll check it out. But it's like, damn, this kind of got fucking crazy. That was a good ass movie. Damn, what the fuck? In the end, he became the geek, man. And he was in the train with them he was in the train with the motherfucking chickens, bro. He was in the train with the motherfucking chickens. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you, man. Thor. I watched the Thor trailer. All right. We'll probably watch. I like those, man. I like. Oh fuck my leg. I like those. We'll probably watch some more like another time, but